Hey everyone, Joy Brooks with Email and Coffee. And today we're continuing the series on email marketing and who's your ESP, something like who's your daddy. Today I'm talking to Joanne, who I have talked to before. And in many cases, the email marketing experts that I have talked with in this series are people that have been on the series before. So even though Joanne's been on the series, go ahead and do a little introduction. Tell us where you're at, what you're doing, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I will do the blah, blah, blah part. So
You do that better than I do.
I'm really good at the blah, blah, blah. So I am Joanne Homestead of Desk Plant Creatives. I am an email copywriter, copy coach, and story whisperer. And I help women, entrepreneurs, small business owners to write open worthy emails that get more engagement, more clicks, and more clients all through their 100% authentic writing voice, which is incredibly important right now with all the AI and people really craving that authentic connection to businesses. So that is me, blah, blah, blah.
It's it's difficult. There's a lot in the inbox lately, and a lot of it's automated, and a lot of that automation is broken. So, there are a few brands that I get two emails one after the other, same subject line, same thing. I'm like, okay, that's not good.
Yeah, the automation.
It could be a burp on the ESP end,
Right.
but it also could be an automation that's not running properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and there's all kinds of tech things that can happen in the background that will just not work correctly. But
Yeah,
I am also saying I am not against AI, using AI. I do teach my clients how to use AI, but in a way that is really speaking their message and getting resonance and again getting the engagement, clicks, and clients. What I'm seeing right now with a lot of people coming to me, women, small business owners, is they're using AI. They come to me, I give them a mini audit, they show me their emails, and they say, I don't know why this isn't working. And I can tell them in 5 seconds, I can tell you why it's not working, because I know what to look for. For them, they don't know what to look for. They don't know what they don't know, which is okay. But that's also why it's so helpful to invest in a copy coach and a copywriter to help you figure out, like, okay, how to use AI to get that engagement, clicks, and clients.
It's getting content to do that for any brand is difficult. Using AI as a resource is good. Using it to write all your content is not good.
Yeah.
It's as simple as hiring somebody to write your content and just taking it from them and never teaching them. No, that's not my voice. No, that's not the product. No, that's not the audience. No, that.
And that's the thing, is when clients aren't clear on their own authentic writing voice, then even if they want to outsource to a copywriter, the copywriter may not be able to capture their writing voice.
It takes the copywriter some time to do that.
And
out of the box, it's not going to happen.
Right.
No copywriter is going to be able to say, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
After one meeting. It takes a while. And any copywriter that says, I'm going to provide 50% more business for you without having a conversation with the customer, is just selling themselves. Because in many cases, or in some cases, not many cases, in some cases, it's difficult to sell the brand. Period. As I choked it up. It's not, email is not the answer all.
No.
And it might not work for a particular brand or a particular industry. You have to figure out who's your customer, what's in your list. to the first question. I mean, I could just go on and on.
Yeah.
It's a rough business, and it's not that it's always changing, but because there's lots of tools out there
Hmm.
to use and lots of ways to solve one problem, or at least solve a problem, and if that may be marketing or goals or strategy, whatever. There's a lot of ways to do that, and you can get lost in the weeds. I'm curious if you could tell me which ESPs you're using, um, why you like them, and perhaps some business cases where it might not be the best of friends.
Great question. I'm going to start with what I use, and then I can go into what ESPs my clients like to use and why, because that's really important to know why they like those ESPs.
Yeah.
So the first thing I like to say about ESPs is, especially for small business owners, is that find one that you really like to be in. Like you will sign in and feel okay being there. It feels good. I know people who are using a certain ESP and I don't know. There's something not clicking, not aligned. And so when that happens, they're in avoidance. They don't want to go in and write or send emails. They don't want to look at the metrics. So that's the first thing I always like to start with. This is the caveat: is fine. There are hundreds of ESPs out there, and there are hundreds of ESPs because they fit different brands, businesses, preferences, personalities. All of those things come into play. So I personally, for my business, use MailerLite, and I've used it since I started my my own email list, which was that 4 years ago? I started my business 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know. The years are blending all together. But I have really enjoyed MailerLite. I think it's great for small business owners. And I just think that there aren't too many features, meaning like it's not going to get overcomplicated. First, you just need to kind of audit, like, what do you need from your email? Like, what do you need for your email marketing? Like, for me, I don't need any like fancy templates. My emails are basically just mostly like text. Sometimes I'll have GIFs because I think they're fun. Pandas playing in the snow. It's great. Um, and that's it. It's very simple. So I don't need a whole lot in terms of the templates and the graphics and all that. I want some automations. Like I have a welcome nurture email sequence, create a sales sequence. So MailerLite has what I really like about MailerLite is that it has a lot of features in the free plan. I just started the paid plan, so I had been on it for a few years on the free plan, and it allows you to have multiple automated workflows, which a lot of the other ESPs don't necessarily have. You have to be on the paid plan in order to have those features. You can make landing pages on the free plan, like 10 landing pages. It just makes it easier and simpler, and I felt like there were less blocks along the way, because some of the other ESPs, you want to create another automation, or you want to create another landing page on there, but you can't because you have to get to the next tier. I just felt like MailerLite just lets you create enough for what you need for your small business. So that's what I really love about MailerLite.
That's important because a lot of the ESPs come out helping small businesses, but don't envision that the goal of the company is not to maintain small business, but they do that just to get their feet wet, to get their name out, and then they screw their customers. They move on, they overcharge, they block. Oh no, you can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they aspire, medium to big. And where does the small business person go?
Mm-hmm.
There are many people that have webinars that have small products, that are doing smaller things in the world. They're not trying to compete with large companies, but they still have a market, and they still want to get their services or news or products out to people that have an interest. So, it gets, and they just don't want to use Gmail to send group messages or send 50 messages through Gmail.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If you have 10 customers and you're sending an email to 10 customers, that's not absurd.
Mm-hmm.
That's not ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's a launch. So you need a product that can manage that. And MailerLite, as you've noted, is one of those products, and it deserves its marketplace. It's not to be laughed at. And how do they do it free? They probably put a MailerLite advertisement on the bottom. So you probably were. So what's the big deal there? I get many emails from MailChimp that have that, or Constant Contact.
Yeah.
They still have that model. That's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
They're prospecting. It's a business. Hello. It's a beautiful thing. What
It
other
is.
ESPs might you want to share with us?
Yeah. So the other ESPs that I'd like to share that my clients really like is one is Flowdesk, which is also for small businesses. They're very minimalist, which is what my clients like about it. They also like they love my clients love to say like the emails look so pretty, which to me is like more about like the writing piece of it than how pretty it looks. But they feel good in it. They feel good in that ESP. They're gonna go in there. So I'm not gonna say like, no, you need to come over to MailerLite or whatever. Like they feel good about it, then that works for them. But it is very minimalist, and they did recently change their pricing model. I believe it used to be a flat fee for forever, but I think they've changed it to the monthly subscription, like a lot of the other ESPs.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, Flowdesk. If you're looking for
Flowdesk?
Flowdesk, Flowdesk, Flowdesk.
Okay, thank you.
And that one is very, very minimalist again. The only pros and cons with that. Pros meaning like it's not going to be very complicated. But then if you do want to add in, you're going to have to add in a lot of integrations if you want your emails to be doing to connect to other things. So,
Right.
But it works for my clients. And I work with a lot of women entrepreneurs who are coaches generally, or private practitioners in wellness, well-being, and mindset. So just to give a little context for who my clients are and what kind of ESPs they use. So Flowdesk is one. The other is, of course, Kit, which used to be ConvertKit.
That's ConvertKit, right?
Yeah.
So it's Kit. Okay.
They recently changed their name to Kit, and that one is a really popular one too. That one does have more features, but they don't have like a free plan. I think it's a free trial period, and then you go into a paid plan. But that one has good features. I always hear good things about it. They're very reliable. They have good customer service. And so that one is another one my clients really like. And then Active Campaign, a few of them use, but that one again, that one's it's more robust. And for some,
very robust.
Yeah, for some of my clients, they don't need that much. They don't need that many features, and they get bogged down. You can go down a lot of rabbit holes in Active Campaign.
There's a whole deal. There's a it's a CRM. There's a whole deal portion of it that people are what?
Yeah. So generally speaking, I feel like I recently talked to someone who said they are actually moving from Active Campaign to another ESP now, just because it's so robust, and she really does not need all that. So yeah, it goes back to like auditing what exactly do you need? What do you need it to do for your business? And then you can figure out, okay, what's the best ESP for that? So, Active campaign. Okay, can we talk about MailChimp really quick?
Sure, we could definitely talk about MailChimp. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yes.
There really is.
I do still get clients who are in MailChimp, but I try to get them away from that just because I don't know, they've had like privacy policy issues in the past, and I just don't think they're keeping up with like relevancy currently with ESPs, and I really am passionate about consent-based email marketing, not just like adding people and then getting marked as spam, things like that. So I don't know. I'd love to hear what you think about MailChimp, or have you had conversations already about MailChimp?
Yeah, so there are a number of people that have talked about MailChimp, because anybody who's been in the industry is going to have at least one client that, I've had, when I started, some people started with a constant contact account, personal. I started with a personal MailChimp account, and that was way back in 2000. They're being driven by Intuit at this point, and things may change because Intuit wants medium to large. I'm not saying enterprise, they love that, but I'm saying they want just lower than the enterprise tier. They want that big business. They want it. And so they're using MailChimp to do that. And that's, I'll use the term abusive, because that's not, MailChimp can manage it. It's been around for a long time. Can manage it. But why? Again, why are you doing this? There are tons of enterprise version products. You purchased MailChimp. What are you trying to do with it? You're going to lose the base. And the base was always, or not always, perhaps, in my mind, it was entry level, small to mid-sized business. You could grow. Your business could be small and grow into mid-size, and you wouldn't need to move. So I'm grandfathered, and I have a nice, small, little, cushy account. I don't know if they ever plan to change it. They haven't, and I hope they don't. But they've got a lot of bells and whistles. As they've got a history. I'm not saying necessarily that I'd like to see Intuit sell it. I don't want to gut the companies, but MailChimp. I still say for some customers that are entering the marketplace, I'll never recommend Constant Contact unless they stick with it. It's not a bad product. It's just, for me, for an entry level, it makes itself simple, but it's not simple when you start trying to do some simple to complex flows. It's no longer simple. And now you're sort of, using a white sheet as as an evening dress. It's like, it doesn't work. It's fine when you just want the white sheet and sleep, but
I love that image.
I'm
imagining a Halloween ghost.
I should say a wedding dress. I should have said a white sheet is a wedding dress. In any case, it doesn't cut it, and that's why Constant Contact irritates me. It's great if you're small, if you're a coach, and you know exactly what you're doing, and you don't plan to change, and it's working, and you're basically, I just want to send messages out, make sure people know when I'm going to be somewhere or whatever. Very goal-oriented, simple business. It'll work. MailChimp will take you to the next level easily without, like, what, where is, how, when, why? MailChimp will take you to that next level. It always has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, that's my 52
The
cents.
ghost, the ghost sheet. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about that, the white sheet again. Oh, and I do have a shout out for another ESP that is owned by an entrepreneur, and so small business owners. So if anyone wants to support an ESP who really values the customer service side, I recommend Mail Softly, MAIL, and then soft, like SOFTLY, Mail Softly. The founder, Alcon, I had a great talk with him. I've been on his podcast as well. And yeah, he's really passionate about making sure they have really good customer service, which is what some people really value. That piece of it too, is that maybe they just don't feel comfortable with the tech side. That is what gets them stuck. And to have that kind of customer service allows them to move forward and grow their business, then I would say, yeah, definitely that would be that is a possibility. Again, it just goes back to what is it that you need, and
Right.
what's the goal? Like, what's your vision? And I feel like for a lot of my clients that I see, what is usually happening is whatever ESP that they're in and they're writing, but they're not getting much engagement. They're not getting much clicks. They're certainly not getting any revenue or clients from their emails. What usually is the case is that they just need to start with the vision, which is what you're talking about, is the goal. Like, what are your goals? What they're doing is they're writing because people keep saying, like, the money's in the email list. You got to start an email list. If you have a business, which I definitely agree with, to be able to have a way to communicate with your potential clients and retain clients. Email marketing is a great way to do that, versus social media, where you don't own the followers. If you get closed down, that's like all gone.
Right.
So they start their email list, which is great. I love it. They're writing, but now they're like, okay, I feel like I'm writing to a brick wall. I feel like I'm talking into the void. I feel like I'm just like keep putting myself out there, and I'm just nothing. It's like just either crickets or people commenting like their auntie is on their email list, like, I love your emails.
Right.
But it's not actually, bringing in any revenue
Revenue.
again. So start with the vision. And I think the vision will also help you decide what ESP you would like to go with. Because when you're clear on your vision and your goals and the purposes for your email marketing, that will help you then decide what's the best ESP for me to invest in.
It's I've signed up over the years. I've signed up to a lot of emails only because I just want to see what's going on.
Oh, totally. Me too.
And it's not easy. And obviously I have clients over the years. And as I said before, a client will say, something's wrong with the email. My first quarter is great, and then it just peters out. Like, what's wrong with the email over time? And if you take a look, that's when you go into the analysis and take a look at the data, and perhaps that's the cycle of the business. Or it's too much. And they start the fresh in the year because maybe that's, when they have fiscal, when they have money to buy things. All of these things may happen. And while part of your vision may be what you think is, should be going on, you need to look at the data to tell you what your list thinks is going on. And it may not match. And it may be difficult to swallow. It's email is not, do it and done.
Mhm.
Ever, ever. And that's difficult because, you may put some amount of time and money and effort into 6 months of work, and it just doesn't work.
Yes, that's okay. It's like, oh my gosh, I have like three things to say. Hopefully, I can keep them in my mind.
Okay.
All right, one is the yeah, looking at the data, and that's definitely something for my clients who are in my program. Even for myself, it's hard. Sometimes I'm just not looking at the data because I'm not a numbers person, but it does give you really good information. And so I do teach my clients like which metrics to look at, and we just keep it so simple, just so simple. What usually happens is they're overcomplicating, they're overthinking, or they're making it feel really personal. Like don't take it personally. This is information that we are going to look at, and we're going to go into it with curiosity. Just what's going on, what's happening, what's working, what's not working, what is this telling us, so that's one thing about the data. And then the other piece, okay, I may have lost it.
I do it all the time. It's okay.
The vision, maybe I had to do with the vision. Oh, the writing, like, okay, the long term, the writing and the long term piece of it, like, oh, it's working and then it's not working. Okay, so email marketing, I like to imagine, is like a gear, and it's a gear in your marketing machine. And so there's going to be other things happening in your business that leads into your email marketing. So yeah, email marketing is not just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Insular. It's not like just on its own little island. It's a gear, and it's connected. It's connected to other things, like how, and there's so many ways to use your email marketing, especially for like coaches and private practitioners, depending on, again, your strengths, your superpowers, and the bigger vision and goals for your business. So for some, it might be, really talking in podcasts, and that leads into their email marketing. It's talking more about the funnels, but I know we're talking about ESP, so I won't go
No,
all.
no, it's okay. No, because it's information. Because along the lines of getting an ESP and using an ESP, a lot of people will blame the ESP. Oh, I'm not getting clicks. It's the ESP. No, it's not. It may be. It may be. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. And it's very difficult once you're in the weeds to understand what's going on. And I mean, my heart goes out to businesses. I was shamed into starting an email because everyone said, oh, well, you got a podcast and your email marketer. Why aren't you sending out an email? And I'm like, because I don't really think I have anything to say. And I don't need to say something just to put it out there. Excuse me, people are pretty busy. I do a podcast. If they want to watch a podcast, well, why, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, I've got 6 people in my list. I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it. Um, and the strategy was send them to YouTube. Get the clicks. It's a podcast. That's what I want. I'm not selling anything. And I get 100% open rate, and no one clicks. I'm like, okay, this is a problem. I can't make them click.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the point. It's like, okay, at that point, do I say to myself, do I change the goal? Do I change the strategy? What is the purpose here of the email? And the answers, don't jive, because it may not be, how do I say this? It may not be for the people who are in the list, and until it grows, the people on the list get the email, and they are not clicking to see the video. They joined a podcast list. They're not clicking to see the video. The list is, they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And why would I, the point is, it's not ego. Why would I change the strategy? It's such a great strategy. The strategy is to get more clicks in YouTube. I have to change the whole strategy. And I'm thinking, what other strategy could there be? Talking about myself. So let's talk a little bit about that. It's like the content in the email is or isn't working. The concept of open versus click. And then, if you have to write this down, and the concept of long form versus short form.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you just want to take that one, because that's a big one.
Let's talk about what was the first one? Content. All right. So basically, what I've created for my clients who join my copy coaching program is a 7-step framework. It's called the Stories Framework. And I created this framework because this is what I noticed. This is how I get my clients the results that they're looking for, was from these seven steps, 7 slices. And so one of that is what you're saying, like is it like the content? Because I have clients who come to me who say, I have amazing open rates, like 50, 60, 70% open rate, but very low engagement, not like low click rates. People just aren't engaging. And so we're looking at this 7-step stories framework to assess and see, okay, where is it that we need to really focus on to get that engagement, to get the clicks. And so one piece of that is like, the copywriting piece. And so if listeners are out there and they want to learn more about the whole 7-step stories framework, I have my live event that I host every other month, and we actually do the assessment together and reflect on it and see where is it's falling apart, because that is usually the issue, is that something's not working, and then it's what you're saying is like they're going to blame the ESP. Oh, it's the ESP, or they're blaming whatever it is. It's because they don't know what to look at. So the 7-step stories framework, we go through every single slice of the pie, and we are actually assessing it 0 to 10. And then from there, you can clearly see like, oh, okay, this is where I need to focus on to get more engagement. I'm getting the open rates, but why is no one engaging or clicking? Or I'm just so inconsistent with my writing. I ghost my email list every 6 months. Like, why is that happening? All kinds of things. So I think that's one way that I like to give to other small business owners. Like, let's look at the framework and see what's not working, and then we can focus on what's the next step. So that was the content piece. What the next one was around, I should have written it down. You told me to write it.
I do have a big question about long form and short form.
Oh yes, long form, short form. So okay, I get,
especially for coaches, because they have a lot on the table to say.
I get, this is the number one question I get all the time from coaches. Is my email too long? How long can my email be? What is the length of the email? It's all around the length of the email. And I am on a mission to say, stop worrying about the length of the email, like how long it is, and start asking yourself, is it compelling? Because even if you have a short email and it's not compelling, you're not going to get the engagement in there. And that's something that when I did a recent mini email copy audit for someone, she came to me and said, I don't want to write long emails. And I'm going to talk about the other side too. I don't want to write long emails. People are busy. I don't want to bother people in their email inbox. That's the number 2 thing I hear people say. But people are signing up. They're signing up. They want to hear from you. Okay. So anyhow, her emails were so short. It was like the AI overview, the AI summary of emails that they have now that I have been getting from Gmail. And I said, if you want to write emails like that, you can, but why not just have the AI summary do that? Because it's like, you might as well write more in your email, because the purpose of the email isn't just to give logistic information. The point of the emails, especially for coaches, is to build the trust. You need to have the emotional connection. And to build that emotional connection, that's why I like talking about using storytelling in your emails and make it compelling. You can write an email that feels maybe it's considered long, but it's compelling and people want to read it. So I feel like my clients have different lengths of emails. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter. It works for them. You just have to it is a lot of trial and error. And it's kind of like what you say about email. It's just not like, it's not one and done. You're getting information along the way, and you're going to be tweaking and adjusting and finding your rhythm. And that's what my clients do. They're finding their flow. They're finding the rhythm. They're finding what length of email works for them. And so there is a point. Okay, is there a point where your email gets too long? Yes. Yes, there is. Okay, this is the other end where the coaches they have so many stories to tell. They just have so much brilliance to share. They have so much expertise that their emails are like going in about 10 billion directions.
They're blog posts.
They are blog posts. Or I like to say, make this into your book and publish it because it's now like a booklet. So that's the other end. Either they're saying like, I have to make it so short. And then I'm like, well, you've lost all the emotional connection. You've lost all the, like, you're not building any trust in here in this email. I don't know who you are, what you stand for, what's your unique magic sauce. Like, I'm not getting any of that. And then the other side, which is, wow, there's a lot here, but I don't know what to do with all of this.
Homework.
It's like, I'm not, what usually is happening in that case is I call it the email splits. They need to split that email into 2, 3, sometimes 4 emails.
Yeah.
That's how many emails they're writing in one. Or as you're saying, it becomes a blog post. It becomes like a long form content. Or put it in the book you're going to write. I have a lot of clients who right now are saying like, I really want to write a book. And I said, well, you can use this email content in your book.
The long version is, I'm seeing, is popular with a particular type of service. Not, well, let's call it brand, with a particular brand. And what I would used to tell customers would be, if that's what you're writing, if you're writing long form, at some point, throw the hook, read more, and get them to click.
Mm-hmm.
If they're interested, they will. If they're not going to. I don't have, personally, only because my list is, the amount of emails I get in my inbox is ridiculous. I don't have time to read these long stories. But that doesn't mean that there's not a fan following. So if I were a coach and I had a particular following, that's what I'd want to do. So I cannot tell people don't do long form. I can only say personally, when I'm going through the inbox, long form's not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But that, again, if I were looking for, and when I say fan, I'm not talking about Hollywood, but what I'm saying is, if I have a business and I have 20 people that, I love your emails, that's important.
Mhm.
Again, if I'm a coach with 20 people, I've got a good business,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Right.
But you just have to
Thinking
you have
about
to have your finger on the pulse to see when that, oh, I love your emails, stops.
Mhm.
And that great feeling, that dopamine, woohoo, everybody loves me. That may not be it may be a point to start with, but it's not necessarily a goal. You don't want people necessarily to love your emails unless you're saying exactly what you're saying. Go write a book.
Mhm.
Then, hello, that's a segue into your book. People
Yeah.
love your emails. By the way, I've got a book coming out with
Yeah.
content like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that works.
Stories and the content.
Again, it's the vision, it's the strategy, and it's the goal. And I would never tell people not to look at long form as a method, but I would say, be careful. Watch it as it goes.
There's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot in email. There definitely is. Like I'm going to go back to, don't worry about the length. Make sure it's compelling, but then also, yeah, if it's just getting so long, you're losing people. And then when you get that engagement, when people are responding back, especially for coaches, the kind of engagement you want to hear is like, wow, like you are in my head. It's like you're in my head. How did you know I was thinking that right at this moment? That's the kind of engagement you're looking for, is they feel seen and heard and understood.
Right.
Because when they feel that, then when you go to promote your offers, your services, your packages, they're going to be primed and ready to hear it because they feel seen by you. And then they're going to be in that consideration stage of, okay, I want to see how we could work together. Oh, okay. I was going to go into repurposing with the short form, long form content. So something that I love to tell my clients in my program is repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. Like, you do not need to reinvent the wheel. I think for a lot of women entrepreneurs, they feel like they need to constantly be creating something new, like new content all the time. I'd say that is not sustainable. And I have been there in burnout. As a former teacher, I have been in burnout every year at the end of the year. And it's not sustainable. So repurposing your emails and send that same email 6 months later, looking at, okay, this one was a good one. Like, I feel like people need to hear this one again. Like, that's totally okay to do. Like, give yourself permission to do that. And usually what happens because they get so scared, like, oh my gosh, like I can't send the same email again, like 6 months later. And when they send it, almost always someone replies and says, thank you for sending that. Or, I remember this story and it was so good. I needed to hear it again,
Right.
So repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. But then also, besides just resending an email that you've written before, kind of going to the long form, short form, is that you can repurpose your content, your email content. So what my clients do is they're writing their emails and they say, oh, this is like basically the script for my YouTube video. Or, oh, this is a seed for a blog post. Like I can totally expand on this and create a blog post. Oh, this could be my next podcast episode. Or social media content. Oh, this email could be definitely sliced up into 3 social media content. So they've decided to start with email as their content creation area, and then parse it out from there. And so that way, we don't need to be reinventing the wheel every day. It's exhausting.
Yeah. People read books, the same books over and over again.
And movies, they watch movies over.
Right. So if they like it, they like it.
Yeah.
And odds are you've got a new audience anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, repurposing is not a big deal. But, don't repurpose the garbage. Repurpose the one
Yeah,
that
yes. Don't
gets it
repurpose.
wet.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if clients have gone through my program, they know they can repurpose and resend the same email again because they know it's going to be good. They know it's actually going to be doing what they want it to do. Like, okay, I have an example. Client who went through my program last year, she's a parenting coach. And she had, before working with me, she had written this testimonial email. And she was so excited because this was the first client she had who was willing to do a video testimonial, which was a big deal because parents feel very vulnerable when they're talking about all the stuff. And I get it because I have two little kids. And so she was so excited. She said, "Oh my gosh, okay, I have this quick little 2-minute video clip from a dad." And she wrote the email. And she was just floored. She's like, all these, but like 60% open rate. And no one clicked to go look at the video. And so I
What have I been saying?
so I told her, I said, she had mentioned to me while she was in the program, I said, "Send me that email. I'm going to give you copy feedback on it." So she sent me that email. I gave her copy feedback on it. She rewrote it. She sent it again. Same open rate, 60%, from 0% clicks to 7% clicks.
Good for her.
The
Good.
same testimonial story, the same testimonial video clip. We just needed to, again, like that tweaking and adjust. It's not like we are overhauling the whole email. I'm going through and I'm going, just tweak this, adjust that, because I know who she wants to talk to. And she's done the work of like the messaging and the psychology and the emotions behind who she's talking to. So when I give the copy feedback, I can say like, "Okay, here, I see you're using some of your industry jargon, parenting coaching industry jargon," which happens to all of us. It happens to me when I write because you're the expert. And so you just don't see it. I say, replace that with what your clients are saying. What are they saying? They're not saying, "I really want to have unconditional connections with my child." And I know that because I'm a parent, and I am not saying that. What I am saying is, I really want to not start yelling at my child when they're not listening to me. I want to be able to have that pause before I react. I want to respond. Like, that's something I am saying. Okay. So that's like it's just like things like that. Like, okay, you just need to just replace this language right here, tweak this, flip this around, move this way, put the hook up here, and then, all right, now send it out. And there she got the interest there. So,
well, you put something in my mind, so I'll test my next emails going out.
test it out.
Test. It's it's really important to review your data. Like getting everybody opening, and it's very exciting.
Now what?
Next.
Now what? Which is great. I always love to celebrate every little win that we have because I think it's amazing. Like, wow, people are opening your emails. This is great. Now, what's the next step? There is a next step.
Right.
Just got to figure out what that step is.
What how do people connect with you?
Mm-hmm.
And you've mentioned that you've got some things going on. Let people know how they might get more involved in some of the programs that you've got going on.
Yes. So you can find me at my website, which is my business name, Desk Plant Creatives, with the S at the end of creative. deskplantcreatives.com. And there you can find my events there. Again, I am hosting an event basically every month. One of the events is my live event, which I run every other month. And that one is where we really do go through, I call it the Copy Clarity Compass. We're going to go through the 7 slices, the 7 steps, stories framework, and really assess what's going on. And then on the other alternate months, I'm doing collaborative workshops with a collaborator on anything. It's going to be anything to do with emails. For example, I've already done one this year on a business reset, how to align your business goals, and what does that mean for the copy in the season that you're in, your business. Another one was all around repurposing your emails for course or program content, or vice versa. How do you take your program or course and repurpose it for emails? Because a lot of times you have your program or your course as a coach, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to market and sell this thing now to get people into it. Like we just talk through how you can repurpose content from the course into email. So it just feels lighter. And then I am going to be having some workshops coming up for authors, because that's a big one coming up for clients with wanting to write a book, publishing a book, and how does email work for authors as well for promoting their
That's
book.
a big one.
Yeah. So go to my website, deskplantcreatives.com, and you can also find me on LinkedIn. Look for my name, Joanne Homestead, or Joanne Homestead Copywriter. That's Joanne, and then Homestead, like you're doing some homesteading. But you would not believe how many different ways I've seen a spelling of homestead from my past students' parents. But anyways, LinkedIn. I'm the only Joanne Homestead on LinkedIn. So when you see my name pop up, that'll be me. So yeah, feel free to connect with me there.
I appreciate your time. I hope your business does well in the year 2026.
Thank you. Oh, you just reminded me with that year. I have a workshop coming up April 22nd, 2026. That is going to be, I'm collaborating with a visibility coach, and she's really going to be talking about how to grow your email list in an aligned way, meaning you are drawing in people who you actually want to draw into your email list, not the randos. So she's going to talk on that part, and then I'm going to talk about, okay, now that they are in your email community, now what? What are we going to do from there? And so I'm excited for that. That's April 22nd, 2026. And again, you can go to my website to find information on all that.
Okay, very good. I'll put all the links in the bottom, and wishing you the best of business.
Thank you so much, Joy, for having me here. Always so good to talk to you.
You bet. Well, that's a wrap today, and jump up, and here's Tasha saying bye-bye. Thanks so much. Hello, lick.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, such good timing.
Take care.